saying. At least you have your health.
Health's not good enough.
Not everyone shares your sense of humor.
Health is wealth.
Evolv. Evolv.
We evolve through pain.
Evolv the podcast.
Andrea and Julie.
It's time to begin.
We got work to do. There's just not time for singing and dancing right now.
Boo, because I love singing and dancing.
I'm just getting into that.
I'm sorry. It's time to do the podcast, Julie.
Oh, well, I'm Julie Saunders.
And I'm Andrea Waycott.
This is Evolv the podcast.
Episode 12.
Yay!
Julie, I wanted to talk to you about your singing because I know you think that I think you're not a very good singer. But
well,
I
think... You actually said, Julie, you're not a very good singer.
I think you've got potential. I just think you need some guidance. So I've worked out what I'm going to get you for your birthday.
Yes, Andrea?
Singing lessons. No, really.
Do you know what? I had a singing coach when I was young.
Oh, God, you wouldn't know. She was obviously a lovely lady and taught you a lot of things.
She was.
What's her name? Do you remember it?
No, I don't remember her name, but I do remember her speaking to my mum and saying that mum's money would be better spent if I pursued something that I was passionate about, like sport.
So didn't you like your singing lessons?
Well, I learnt one song in German, but other than that...
why did they teach it to you in German?
I don't know. She was a traditional or traditionist, and I think that...
Traditionalist?
Traditionalist.
Almost.
Yeah.
I did singing lessons too, and she used to make me sing like, stage show stuff, which was fine because I loved stage show type things, but it had to suit my voice, so I never got to sing the songs that I liked. It was always
I know. I used to practice
songs.
over and over again, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Oh. Yeah. And it was...
That's a pretty song.
It's a pretty song until I sang it. Yeah.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Not one for the traditionalist.
That's a loss.
That's right.
All right. Well, it is time to get onto our podcast. And this week we are going to be talking about protein with a lovely lady called Nadia from Elite Supplements.
Absolutely. Not undeniably lovely, but incredibly knowledgeable as well.
Oh, yeah. I learnt so much. Like, I learnt just how important protein is, and not for any kind of journey, be it fitness, weight, muscle building, any of that. It's not about that. It's just about general health as well.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing here for me is that, you find that, trainers, we talk about protein all the time, but for me, when I'm talking to my clients, there's only a small percentage of people who are focused on bodybuilding or that sort of thing. It's really, just the average person coming in and trying to explain to them, yes, that the macronutrient of protein is so important in their life, and it's not just about muscle building.
No, but also if you've got elderly parents or even kids probably aren't getting enough protein.
Definitely children and that growth cycle, ladies, pregnant women.
Yep.
All that is so important.
Yep.
So it's just it's something that we really need to educate ourselves. We talk about sugars and salts and calories and all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But protein is often overlooked.
So for the people who aren't super gym people like me,
hang in there.
You will enjoy this chat. You will learn a lot. Trust me. Trust me. Famous last words.
She's a doctor.
All right. Well, we are excited to talk protein tonight. We have Nadia Sammartino. Come on, Nadia. You come and tell. Did I get it right?
You did. You did. Well done.
From
all those Italian lessons in primary school with Avanti worked.
No, non sono Dario. Sono Pino. Dario è l'ingabinetto.
What does that mean?
No, my name's not Dario. My name's Pino. Dario's in the toilet.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
That's all I remember.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably going to suggest you don't use that when you go overseas.
No, I won't. I'll use Google Translate. Now, Nadia is from Elite Supplements here in Geelong.
Yay.
So she's sort of local.
Yep.
She's
local and she's our mate when it comes to protein powders and sups and all those sort of things.
So we're going to pick your brains on this prickly topic for me anyway, protein. It just baffles my brain. I don't know how much to have. I don't know which one to have.
And I think that applies to so many people. They see it as kind of that, the substances that, gym bunnies have and, blokes who want to get muscles and stuff. And I really want to blow that out of the water because it's just so essential in our everyday diet. And I guess perhaps, Nads, if we start with, why is protein important for us?
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having me on, girls. One of my favourite, well, it actually is my favourite macronutrient, protein. It's, I just find it so underrated, really.
Look at her face light up because she gets to.
Oh, mine too.
There's so much that it does for the body, and in particularly it is about repairing cells in the body. Yeah. Now, often when we think about protein, I think a lot of people just think of the beach muscles. But actually, our body is made up of every single cell, and that's just that's muscles, our bones, enzymes, hormones, all our organs are made up of cells. So in order to repair and regrow those cells, we really do need protein.
Well, they're essential, aren't they? Yeah.
It is. It's essential, yeah. So lots of benefits when it comes to giving us energy. A lot of people don't realise that eating protein can give us a lot of energy. It can keep us fuller for longer. And it, primary purpose is for repair and growth, but that goes for our digestive system as well. It goes for our immune system. So in terms of general health and well-being, it's quite an important macro.
And I mean, we were born to have it, right? Like we are meat eaters and we were born to consume lots of protein.
That's right, but not everybody.
Not these days.
Yeah, no, but that's right. But not everyone, takes protein in the form of meats and so forth.
That's right.
So it comes in lots of different ways that you can take it in. It just becomes a bit more difficult to get the quantity that you need when you start searching through lentils and tofu and that sort of thing. Not impossible, but now that kind of begs the question: how much protein do we need?
How do we work that out?
Yeah, it's a really common question that we hear in store, actually, and certainly in my career in the health and fitness industry. So there is a kind of a general equation to make things really easy for people, and we talk about whether we're an active body or a non-active body. So for, let's say, a non-active body, we actually need between 1.2 to 1.4 grams of protein per kilo of body weight.
Yeah, wow. That's quite a lot.
Pardon?
That's a lot, isn't it? Like that's a lot to try and get in your day.
It can be, yeah. And then if we are an active body and we're doing weight training and endurance training or any sort of activity and exercise, we actually need a little bit more. So we're looking at around 1.4, depending on our gender and our total weight, anywhere up to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. I know some boys who are trying to grow muscles. So, they're up there in the 1.8 to 2 grams of protein per serve. And, I try and put my mother, who is definitely not trying to grow, and she just wants to sort of live healthy. So I put her on more of a 1.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight.
And I think that's really important too. You've crossed there from, the person who wants to grow muscle, who wants to develop muscle, but the importance then at the other end, if you will, of people who are, maybe 60 plus, who, there's still that very much that need for protein. Maybe obviously not in those sort of, those levels, but it's imperative that they keep their protein intake up.
And a lot of older people don't tend to eat enough of anything, let alone probably enough protein.
Yeah, you're quite right.
Yeah, definitely. And I do see that a lot, actually, especially as we get older. We start to lose, strength, definitely from our muscle, but also bone density as well.
Yeah.
And protein, as I mentioned earlier, replaces our cells. So that includes our skeletal bones, as well, and all the marrow included in that.
So,
So it's really important.
I guess
to
it is. It's
try
like
and sustain.
a total health thing. It's not just about what you hope to achieve in the gym or on the scales or any of that. We really should just be having it for our health.
That's right. And Nadia, you mentioned bone density there, and it's a very important thing with a lot of clients that I train, that they're focused, or I get them focused on bone density with, the heavy lifting and so forth, hand in hand with the need for, reasonable to high, often protein intake.
Yes, yeah. I think powdered form, it becomes an actual supplement because we cannot consume the amount of food required. And it is, as I mentioned with that equation, it's quite an individual thing depending on our body weight and our daily requirements. So it can be really challenging to consume 3 full meals a day that has 25 to 30 grams of protein per serve. So in order to try and get that in, definitely the powdered form is an easy way to get that protein intake up for the day. And then, of course, if we're sort of adverse to dairy, or we're vegetarian, or we have certain intolerances, these days it's great because there are various types of proteins that we can lean on. In store, which this can sort of get a little bit confusing for people, but we have a couple of different types of protein. We've got what's called whey protein, and then we've got hydrolyzed isolate protein.
Tell us about those.
And basically so basically they're the same. It's just one goes through more of a rigorous processing system where the proteins are a bit more purified.
So does that mean it's easier to digest, or?
Correct. Yes, exactly that. So because it's finer, it's more purified, it is easier to digest, generally has less fats and carbohydrates taken out from the milk. And in the curdling fermentation process. So they're generally a little bit more expensive as a result of it as well.
And who would you,
having said that,
sorry, Nuts, who would you guide into that form of protein?
Yeah, so look, it is your better quality protein. Those that are, sure, you've got your athletes and those that are looking to really excel in whatever sport that they're training towards. But also, we spoke about the other end of the spectrum, older adults. There is definitely no harm in trying to reduce your fat and carbohydrate intake and get some real quality protein into the body as well. And remember, we always advocate that this is in conjunction with a real healthy diet.
Very important,
and a good hydration and, and a little bit of movement.
Of course.
Yes. More than a little bit.
Yeah, all right. Let's not get carried away.
So we also have, obviously, for people who don't want to take in like the whey or animal products, there are now obviously plant-based. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Are they as good?
Yeah. So, yes, actually they've come a long way. They no longer taste like cardboard.
I have one client that says, "Oh, look, I don't like them because they taste like feet." Like, okay.
I don't think they do actually. Some of the protein powders are really yum.
They used to. They used to be not nice. Let's just leave it at that.
Not nice. No.
And they used to leave quite a yucky aftertaste.
Yeah, I think that's a big feedback that we get in store as well, the yucky aftertaste. Definitely with plant protein. I mean, we're getting the plant protein is getting the full complex of amino acids from things like fava beans, peas, hemp, rice. So, they're pulling proteins out of those foods and creating 20 grams of protein per serve, making sure you're getting your full complex of proteins in your plant. Now, sometimes they say with plant protein, it's different to a whey. Whey does have your full 20 amino acids in it. Plant protein may not have the full 20, but some companies, some really good supplement companies will add the additional protein that's missing, the amino acid that's missing.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And as you say, it's come a long way now. I think that's that's wonderful because it's very difficult for
restrictive if people are either vegan or
Yes.
vegetarian or religious or whatever, that they can't have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So how do I work out if I'm coming in or I send people into you? What's the right protein powder for me?
Or is it another form? Because like we talked about protein water and there's
Well, I agree. I
bars.
I think that there are a number of people that that say I don't like it. I for whatever reason they're stuck on. I don't want to take protein powder. And I said, well, that's there are so many options now. So tell us about some of those.
Yeah. So we would have a conversation with them first and foremost and ask them those questions. Are they adverse to dairy? Do they have any intolerances? Do they have any preferences? So definitely if they want to steer away from animal products, so whey protein, then we would start talking about either the plant-based or now collagen water and collagen powder is another option, which is really excellent.
Yeah, which is fantastic and relatively new to the market, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yeah. So really the complex amino acids are coming from ligaments, tendons, bones from an animal or from marine-based animals and making up those proteins. So not only are we still providing ourselves with the building blocks, but because it's coming from those particular sources, it does have benefits for our hair, skin and nails as well. Yeah, our bodies are made up of primarily collagen proteins. So it's really interesting now that people are sort of really realising that and going, oh, this is a really great alternative for me.
Like gut health and everything, as we discussed, it's like every part of your body has some kind of connective tissue and that's what collagen's part of, right?
And it's funny, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
You get people, they're checking their calories, they're watching their sugar and salt intake, and rightly so, but they're not focused on their protein intake. And it always amazes me that, that is left out. I suppose it's just not a selling point, or it's, people go, oh, well, I don't go into supplement stores. And it's like, well, you should.
Yeah, should.
Particularly if have you analysed your intake of protein and most people pull up short.
It's really funny when we talk about protein water because they taste amazing, right? Like, we've got an apple and black currant one at home at the moment. My husband, I saw him at lunch sitting down with this drink and I thought, that looks like my protein water. I said, is that my protein water? He said, yes, we ran out of cordial.
Oh.
And I thought, he's consuming my very expensive protein water like cordial, but still it's good for him. So
you should congratulate
encourage
him
him
and send him down to Nadia to get more.
Yeah, and he loves it.
John?
And you're spot on. It does taste like cordial. Collagen water does taste like cordial. So it's really,
and there's
really
different
great.
flavours for everyone. I mean, there's
I've been complaining about the fact that I find it too sweet. Andrea said just,
use less.
Use less, but I don't want to use less. Is there an option?
Well, that's true. We'll have to find you a less sweet one, Julie.
So something I can mix it with. I was another objection that I get from people, which sort of it surprises me really, is that protein powder is so expensive. I go in, it's going to cost me like $80, $100, $120, or whatever it is. And I what do you say to people that come in? I know what I say.
It can be, but really, these days it has become quite comparable to the cost of living and the cost of food. If we think about, say, an egg, for example, has 6 grams of protein for one egg, and we're talking about having 25 to 30 grams per meal. I mean, that becomes quite a lot of eggs and becomes expensive to buy those eggs
exactly
as well.
Right.
Absolutely. And eggs, they're not cheap.
Nothing is cheap.
That you look at the comparison there between and Andrea said before when we were talking, off air that whether it be steak or, even chicken, which is the cheaper option, obviously, for good protein intake. But, you break down a per serve amount for protein powder. And again, I'm not suggesting that you ditch eating protein rich food, but to add to that protein intake, it's really not much. I think you were saying before it's
on average, rough average.
Somewhere between $1 and $2 for the average. Yes. Serve
per serve.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So depending on the size of the bag, but really per serve, it's anywhere between sort of $1.60 up to $2.50 per serve.
Which is not much. And what does that give you? How much protein in a serve, generally speaking?
Yeah, usually around 24 to 26 grams of protein per serve. So you're getting, that adequate amount.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? When I'm shopping for protein, obviously it's great to have someone like you, Nadia, who can really kind of explain apples aren't apples, but if I've got to go to the supermarket, what would I use to identify a good protein product? Is there some...
Well, to be honest, I'm going to jump in there and say, whilst the supermarkets sell it, I always send my clients in to someone like Nadia at Elite, because they need to be qualified for what their requirements are. Why are you buying this? I think, it's super important, don't you think, Nadia, to qualify people and be able to give them exactly what they need.
Yeah, because there's so much marketing out there, and you see a product on a shelf in the supermarket and it's so good at trying to convince you that that's for you, but it might not be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. And there are a lot of supplement companies out there as well. So, supplements are I guess there's, as I mentioned earlier, isolate proteins are your higher quality. Same thing goes for different brands and so you can get better quality. So you just want to make sure, I guess for anyone listening, when you're looking at supplements, you want to make sure that there's no artificial flavours, no artificial sugars, additional fillers, and it's quite a clean protein product that you're looking for. So, low in fats and sugars definitely, and higher amounts of protein. And I guess qualifying the person, some people may not enjoy the collagen water because it might be a bit too sweet, but they might be more suitable for a collagen powder and they can just sprinkle it on their food. So, it depends on the person's lifestyle as well. What suits them. So that's where we sort of really start to ask questions about the individual.
Yeah, and I think too, you just mentioned there, it's not just about when it comes to powder. Obviously, the collagen waters, there, things that you drink it, but the powder is not just doesn't have to be consumed just as a liquid. You can put it in your foods, in your cereals, in your yogurts, and all those sort of
and
things.
your cottage cheese, which we'll talk about later, Jules.
Andrea and the cottage cheese. But yes, all of those sorts of things. It's really, really quite a versatile product, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We sell a lot of unflavoured whey protein and collagen protein. Because people mix it with their smoothies or add it to their foods. And again, it's just about sort of supplementing that macronutrient and making sure we're getting enough of that macro into our bodies per day.
And now, thanks to TikTokers and Instas, we get all these really cool recipes that we can use with our protein powders. So, there really is so many things to do with it. What do you think about protein bars? Because, I bought one at the supermarket. It was on special. It has the words Violet Crumble written on it. So, of course, I couldn't go past it. Are the protein bars good, for up-and-go kind of people that don't have the time to stand there and shake it or cook it or...
Yeah, absolutely. Look, again, I would encourage people to really look at the ingredients. That's going to be a key factor. In Elite Supplements, we do have protein bars that have a handful like less than a handful of ingredients.
Yeah.
They're very low in sugar, really high in protein. That's another really big thing. A lot of these protein bars might say they're protein bars, but, the amount
They've
of
got
protein
nothing
might
in
be
them,
11,
basically. Like
12 grams. Pretty low amounts of protein.
Yeah.
So, again, I'd just be encouraging people to sort of do your own research as well, and certainly come in and ask us if you have any queries, because we love talking protein and stuff.
We can tell you love talking protein.
And you know what? I think that's just it. If you're looking to increase your protein intake, head into, to see someone like Nadia at Elite Supps, and they are not only in Geelong, but they're all over the country, I believe.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Yes. So there's over 110 Elite supplement stores around the country. And obviously they can jump online for Elite Supplements Australia as well.
Awesome. And look, go in, see a professional about it, talk through your needs. If you've got a trainer, talk there, but the best people to advise you here, the other people who work in those stores.
Day in, day out, talking protein.
Thank you.
Talking protein.
I love it.
I'm pretty sure there's more to you, Nadia, than just protein.
Yeah, we'll find it. We will find out. Thank you so much for joining us.
Before we let Nadia go, Nadia, we know you have a guest in that room with you somewhere, and we want to see Louis.
Louis.
Yes.
Special guest
Come on.
appearance.
Where's Louis? He's the protein dog.
He's your protein mascot.
He's the protein dog.
Here he is.
Oh, Louis.
Louis.
Hello, beautiful.
Oh, my goodness, you are so cute, Louis.
Has Mummy given you your protein today?
Louis like, oh, my God, what is going on?
He's gorgeous.
So when you said there's more to me than protein, this is my baby.
Yeah, I love it.
We are dog lovers here, animal lovers all round.
Excellent.
If only Louis could talk.
That's right. Well,
We'd have a chat, but we
we
can't.
don't want our animals to talk. They know way too much.
They'd dob on us. Yeah, they totally.
Well, thank you and Louis for joining us today.
Thanks,
really, really appreciate it. Hopefully that's helped a lot of our, listeners and viewers sort of understand a little bit more about the importance of protein and
why,
and seek it out a little bit more. I urge people to really have a look at that, that what their intake is and see if they are lacking, and often people are.
And Nadia will have a solution.
She will. Like,
Well, we'll try anyway. Thank you so much for having me on.
Ciao.
You
have to give us like a goodbye in Italian, like proper Italian.
Oh, ciao, bella.
Ciao, bella.
Grazie mille. So thank you so much. And anyone, I love your podcast. I think you girls do amazing.
Thank you.
So anyone that's in Geelong and you're listening to this podcast, come on in the store, have a chat, and we've set up a code for you girls, Evolv 10. Anyone that can quote the code will get 10% off their sups and their protein.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Our
much
peeps will appreciate that.
Yeah, indeed. And thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Nadia.
you, Donna.
Ciao.
See you, Nads.
So normally, Jules, you are the one that kind of brings in the food and does the food thing. And I thought, I'm going to give it a go. Why should you get all the food fun? I've made you something, and I had to think about it because I had to make it yesterday.
Is that yummy sourdough bread that you make? Like that I keep asking for?
No. This is something that I'm interested to see what you think. I got it off TikTok, where all good recipes live, and it's using one of your favourite ingredients.
What? Chocolate. Yay!
There's a bit of cocoa in there. There is a bit of dark chocolate on the top as well.
Yay.
However, most of it is made with cottage cheese and protein powder. I will give you the recipe for this if you want to try it. But there's protein powder, there is tahini in there, there is milk, there is cottage cheese and some bits. All right, so and I've decorated it. Have a look. So you can see that is the pudding, I think we're going to call it. And it has a dark chocolate layer. Look, I melted chocolate for you and everything.
Can I just eat the top?
No. And I put some blueberries on there. You're supposed to use pomegranate, but I didn't have any, so I just compromised. All right. You're going to have to crack through that.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Have a go. Have a go. I'll force feed it into you. Yeah. Just,
What happens if I don't like it?
I'll tell you a story after.
Okay.
You're going to eat some of the chocolate with it?
Do I have the
think
chocolate?
you should. I think you should. That's a big lot, but okay. Or you're just going to eat the pudding. All right. Go for it. Go. Have a go. Don't sniff it. Just eat it. What are you saying? TikTok's wrong? Are you spitting it over there? You've got a bowl, right? Yeah. Okay. She's spitting it into a receptacle device. Thank goodness. Didn't you like that?
You have some.
I made myself another one, which I've already tried. And in fact, I shared it around my family to get their take on it. And my son's reaction was very much like yours.
That's
Horrid.
yummy. Andrea, that's really awful.
It tastes really strange, doesn't it? And I think it's because the
Oh,
cottage
it
cheese
actually-
is salty.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I made you eat that.
what's in it?
I told you it's got protein powder, cottage cheese, cocoa, tahini, milk. That's pretty much it. I'll put the recipe in the show notes. You won't want to make it. And dark chocolate. And that's 85% dark chocolate. That's really good.
I really like our listeners and viewers, and I'd like you to stay with us. And I urge you not to download this recipe.
Do you want to see me make it? I've done a video of it.
Shall
I roll tape?
roll the tape?
Okay, so you start with some cottage cheese, and I'm using my Thermomix, which I love. You measure in your cottage cheese. It's about 200 grams. Some chocolate protein powder, a couple of those, some cocoa. Throw that in, just a tablespoon, and then some tahini. That's pretty yummy. Sesame seed based, yeah. So we throw that in, a couple of tablespoons of that. I just used a porridge sachet because I didn't have any oats, but that kind of worked. Some milk as well. We pop some milk in there. Oh, yeah, we're looking good. Give it a spin in the old Thermomix. And it looks a bit like that. Yes, like a chocolate pudding, like a grainy chocolate pudding. Pop it in a container. And then I got some dark chocolate, 85% cocoa, and I melted it in a little silicone cupcake thing in the microwave. I do it in 20-second intervals. That just saves it burning or whatever. And then I just put it over the top, spread some chocolate over that, gave it a shake, popped it in the fridge. Are you all right, Jules?
No. No.
Have a sip of water, mate.
I've had like 500 mils of water and I can still taste it.
I promise cottage cheese has a place in our life. I just have to find the right recipe.
Why?
Because it's low fat, it's high protein, it's good for you. I just have to find the right recipe. That is not the right recipe.
That's wrong. That is a very wrong
I
recipe.
can still
and you know
smell
what?
it. Like
Yeah.
I want it to go away.
And do you know what? It
Cracked the seal on the chocolate.
It reminds. It's just awful.
Awful.
Do you know what it reminds me of? I don't know why. I know this is terrible, but cellulite. And it takes
Because people used to say if you had cellulite, you had cottage cheese thighs.
Did they?
Yes.
Is that why? Do you know what? For
That was
me,
an
it
insult.
actually reminds me. It takes me back to when I was doing biology, and they had the lab rats that you used to do. And if anyone had done biology and you had a lab rat, you know what I mean. Inside cottage cheese, and it was like, and I'm sure that actually tasted a bit like lab rat.
Did you eat your lab rat?
I don't know, but it smelled pretty bad.
Teachers have a lot to answer for. What were they doing when you were eating your lab rat?
PTSD, lab rat / cottage cheese. But you know what? I'm hoping this is a bit of a redeeming factor. I don't like cooking. I would certainly
Insta-Jules.
Exactly. Everything that I like to make at home, I'm pretty time deficient, and I love eating.
Did you say time deficient?
I am.
I thought That's exactly what. Yeah, I thought you said dumb deficient or something, and I just misheard you. I'm so sorry.
Time deficient, Andrea. So I like to make things pretty quick, and in the morning I'm on the go. So I saw this recipe on Insta, and I thought I haven't actually made it before, but it looked yummy.
Yeah.
So
okay.
It's only got a few ingredients, and for some people say to me, "Oh, I don't want to eat like a whole lot of stuff in the morning," but I sort of say to them, after an hour or so you've been up, really want you to, to kickstart that metabolism. And
I'm liking the ingredients that I'm seeing. Nothing there scares me.
This is a chocolate protein powder, okay? Bit of water, mix it in. So, apparently. So we're going to make a bit of a pudding with that. I'm going to mix it up. It's all of 30 seconds. What do you think?
I'm not a fan of protein powder and water. I have to do milk with my protein powder.
Listen, wait for it.
Because that just looks like chocolate water and that's not
It
good.
does look like chocolate water, but chocolate water would be yummy.
I said to Jules as she was bringing in these things, I'm like, this bowl is not very big, Jules. Are you going to have enough room in there to do mixing?
Ye of little faith. Anyway, how big's your bowl in the morning? Hey, let me ask you that. So then what they did is they popped in a bit of yogurt, Greek yogurt. So pop that in. So that's your creamy element that you were, banging on about. Yeah. Mix that.
Banging on about.
Mix that in. I'm not sure about the consistency here, but we're going with it.
It's not really mixing in.
And then they put some nut butter in, which I'm such a fan of. So I've got, here we go. You have a look at that one. Nut butter, yummy, good source of protein, tastes delicious.
You said nut butter. It's peanut butter.
Well, it is, but have a look. What's written on the front of it?
Smunchy protein.
That's right.
All peanut butter's protein.
And you know what I like to do? So that's it. That's 3 ingredients, pretty much.
Can you keep stirring that? Because it doesn't look right.
It couldn't look and taste any worse than yours, okay?
It might taste better, but it certainly doesn't look better.
Anyway, so perhaps there's a little bit more mixing that needs to go in. But
Can I do it?
No. I like to throw in. I want to add a little bit to every recipe. I
Some slithered almonds.
That's right. So, they're actually flaked.
Oh, are they?
And I'm going to throw in a couple of strawberries as well because, everything tastes better with berries, doesn't it?
Still mixing.
Yeah, look at that. Yummy.
Oh,
so now we're going to feed this to Andrea.
You put too much water in that. That doesn't look right.
Here, quick.
I don't think. Can I?
No.
Actually, if it was mixed, it'd probably be all right.
Is it nice?
If it was mixed.
More?
I think I just got like a mouthful of peanut butter. Oh, come on, that's enough.
One.
Mummy's one said one more. You'll have to wrap this up because my mouth is stuck with peanut butter.
Does it taste better than your cottage cheese?
Yes, it does.
And I'm guaranteed.
As ugly as this looks, because trust me, look at this.
It's a little bit. It's not like a pudding anymore. It's a bit like a soup. But
I think she's got the consistency wrong.
Perhaps so. And I take a little more care at home. But I've got to say that I would suggest this has about 3 times the protein of your cottage cheese.
I had protein powder in mine. And tahini, that's protein, sesame seeds.
That may well be, but if it tastes like
Arse.
either one of those two, then it's inedible. Where I feel that mine might be a little more edible than yours.
Yeah, I think you need a blender. And
I'm going to use the same spoon as you.
My kid's got chicken pox. Did I tell you that? No, for reals. He has chicken pox. Spotty little boy. But you're right. I don't have chicken pox. I haven't had it. I'm fine. You'll be fine. You're not going to get chicken pox. 2-week incubation period. We'll find out in 2 weeks. If we're not here in 2 weeks, you know why. Are you right? Do you want some water? Cottage cheese will do that to you. Sorry about that.
Did I just burp on air?
I hope not. It is time to do our highlights or things that have given us some joy or positivity throughout our fortnight. And
Unlike cottage cheese.
I'm going to find some way to redeem cottage cheese. just got to find it.
Those words do not go together.
All right. Well, the thing that made me really happy this week is I have discovered true crime podcasts. I know I'm late to the party, but I love it. It is a little escape.
Joy, true crime, I can't even say it.
I know, it's hard to say.
True crime podcast.
That's it.
Look at me go.
The one I'm listening to, The Truth About Amy. Sensational. Highly recommend it. It's done by Channel 7 people and it's very professionally done and it'll make you think about how the police conduct investigations and some holes and stuff.
Okay. Well, I don't want to do that at the end of my day.
Fair enough.
Things that make me happy at the end of my day, and I've had quite a challenging fortnight. So I was thinking about how grateful I am when I get home. I'm lucky enough to be able to go outside. I've got some beautiful dogs, and every single night I give them a hug, take them for a bit of a run, and then, they just make you
wag their tails, look
happy,
at you like
happy things. Just so good for the soul.
Yeah.
And then I trot inside and have some protein, and then then off I go to bed. And I found a show which is not like yours.
Oh,
mine is called Kim's Convenience, and it's a 20-minute little dash of funny.
that sounds a lot more fun than mine. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? It just it does bring a smile to my face. And sometimes, like you, whatever your poison is, I suppose, is that
I'm not poisoning anyone.
is that you have a little bit of a fun escapism from whatever the daily grind.
You just get to leave your world and enter another one. And for however long that is, it's just such a nice reprieve from the day.
Yeah, and we need it. You need some downtime, whatever that thing is for you. Find it and just and be grateful that it's there. And I think that's the main thing. We remember that we have all these things available to us now, and to be grateful for them. Yeah?
Streaming TV and streaming podcasts.
That's right.
Bless you.
That's right. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us, like us, and share us around.
Share us around in the kindest of ways.
That's
and
right.
also, if you could leave a review or anything like that on the podcast player that you're listening to, it helps other people find our podcast as well.
Yes, indeed. Except for the cottage cheese bit.
Warn them about that.
We're very sorry about that. All right, we'll see you next show. Thank you for watching and listening.
They do both.
Evolve the podcast.
Say goodbye to Andrea and Julie.
This episode of Evolve the podcast was co-produced by Julie Saunders and Andrea Waycott. If you wish to get in contact with the show, please reach out on social media. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, or email evolvethepodcast@gmail.com. That is Evolve with no E. Thanks for listening. Till next time.